Welcome back to the podcast. I am Ross Bolen. The podcast. What if there was only one podcast? This is the podcast. Welcome back. I am the host. But no, this is the Ross Bolen podcast. We know there are many podcasts, and thank you for choosing RBP as your podcast of choice today. Am I a podcast now? Like, am I just personally a podcast? I introduce myself at parties. What's up? Ross Bolen podcast. Nice to meet you. Is that the future we're heading toward? Let's find out from our co-host, Jared Borislow. Jared?
Ross, if you were a podcast, I'd play you so loud that my ears would burst, and then subsequently I would burst.
If you were a podcast, Jared, I'd subscribe, rate, and review.
Would you share?
Oh, God, I'd share.
That's kind of...
Jared, I would share.
I don't know if
I'd copy link. I'd share. I might even do a swipe up for you.
Share
Jared.
it.
Yeah.
See, I don't have 10K followers on Instagram, so I can't do that.
Ooh, sad.
Do you ever
No,
just...
it's a burden. It's not a treat.
I was going to say, do you ever just do swipe ups just because you can?
To where?
I don't know.
And does anybody even use them?
Yeah, for ads. It's pretty much
So
exclusively.
what I mean is so few people are swiping up, bro. Right? If you swipe up, if you're someone listening right now and you swipe up, ever, I'd like to hear from you on Twitter, @WRBolen. Please follow me.
I hope people are doing that because we constantly put our sponsors out there as a thank you to them for sponsoring the show.
That's true.
In hopes that the listeners who are listening right now...
I guess we could check the analytics.
We could. I could do that. We do get some. I look constantly.
All of the time people are swiping up. Jared, I've been dealing with some anger issues, some depression wrapped up in there. And as I work my way through these issues in therapy, I find oftentimes I need a pick-me-up. Something that can take my mind from that negative place where Limp Bizkit is always playing way too loud to a peaceful place where happiness and joy have a chance to exist. What's something that just never fails to cheer you up a little bit on your worst days?
For me, going to a nice coffee shop and getting a fancy coffee drink.
This is one that I almost put on my list, but over-caffeination is a real problem for me.
It's not for me. Only
Too
under
risky
caffeination.
for me is what I'm saying. So yes.
Now, oftentimes if I'm in a bad mood, the reason why is because there's a chemical imbalance in my brain caused by a lack of coffee, to which I'm hopelessly addicted. And this is like, hey.
Withdrawals.
Yeah, my brain's like, hey, like, I don't know if getting the coffee is like I like the experience of it, or it's just the drug that I'm giving myself. Like I'm medicating. I don't know. But
Yeah.
but I find it medicinal regardless.
My brain has like 6 of these it needs a day. One of them's peanut M&Ms.
Oh yeah, you do love those. By the way, we had a trail mix. It's like a peanut lover's trail mix, and instead of M&Ms, it has peanut M&Ms. And whenever I go to it, the ratio of peanut M&Ms to everything else in there is heavily skewed because Ross is clearly going in and picking them out.
I got a question. Did you open up the trail mix at the end of last week?
No, somebody did though.
Damn it, it was me then. It was me. Okay, it was either me or you, and I knew it was one of us. But whoever it was, and apparently me, opened it, took out like one or two things, and then put the lid back on, but didn't twist it shut, just put it back on.
I would never, Ross, I don't know if you know this about me.
I would never do this either, though.
This is one of my, not only would I never do it, this is one of my biggest pet peeves. Do you have any idea what it's like to have roommates in college who, they'll open up, eat like 5 chips, and then just leave it open?
You don't even know what happened yet. I fucking go to get the thing, and I grab it funny, and the goddamn top pops off, and I spill peanuts and shit all over the inside of the cabinet. I spent the next 20 minutes picking them up. Maybe it was Bruce. He looks guilty.
I think it was you.
It was Ron.
I cannot handle it.
Son of a bitch.
If you open up a food or like a 2-liter soda, the worst in college when you have a communal chaser, like a 2-liter of Coke, and then people just leave it out there. You just
That's
open.
not a thing anymore.
No,
it's pandy.
It's not. But yeah, if you open up a bag of chips and you do not use a chip clip or roll it up and put the chips on top of the rolled up opening, then you are a savage and you should be kicked out of society and forced to live with Tarzan and Jungle Boy.
The chip clip is essential. I don't understand people who don't have chip clips, and there's a lot of you listening right now. You just roll and go. And look, the roll isn't sufficient. It unrolls.
No, but that's why what I do is if I don't have a chip clip, which I like to prefer, I prefer to always have the chip clip.
But they're always disappearing. Nobody knows where they go.
I fold the opening under the chips. So like the chips are resting on top of the opening, the weight of the chips preventing air from getting in.
Okay, that's strategic, and I respect that. But like every 3 months, I'm ordering a 20-pack of chip clips on Amazon because they just fucking escaped to somewhere. But you gotta have these. They're an essential pantry item.
I've got a question. So you know how they make... Okay. Stay with me here because I'm going to blow your mind.
Okay.
You know how we currently have the technology to make light bulbs that will never go out, but we don't do that because the light bulb companies need to stay in business, so they make it so you have to replace the light bulbs?
I've heard this. I don't know if I believe that.
No, it is true. There's like a light bulb with a huge filament in California that's been lit for like 125 years.
There's a huge filament?
Yeah.
Okay.
So what if they're capable of making chips that never go stale, but they're not doing it so the chip companies can keep making money when you need to replace the bag of chips when it's only half eaten because it's stale?
I believe that at this point.
Mm-hmm. It's one of the many conspiracies that I am a member of.
Because they're holding all kinds of shit back from us.
Mm-hmm.
We're finding this stuff out every day now.
I know.
Delta 9 was an example of that. Where the hell did that come from? Totally different type of weed?
Delta 8.
Delta 8.
What's Delta 9?
Delta 9 is THC.
Are you part of the conspiracy? Are you...
No, Delta 9 is THC.
Oh.
Delta 8 is the one that's legal in Texas still. For those of you who are like, what the fuck are you talking about? I live in Oregon and smoke regular pot. In Texas, we now have something called Delta 8, which is like another layer of THC that's not Delta 9 THC, which is the one that's in regular weed and is illegal here in Texas. We have Delta 8.
Yep. I live across from a Delta 8 dispensary.
And it apparently is incredibly effective. This is not like the back in the day fake weed shit you'd hear about. It's apparently legitimate.
Yeah, and it's not made out of like Chinese paint chips like K2 or whatever.
Right. It's plant grown. Anyway, just weird. That could be on your list, Delta 8. On mine's getting outside in nature. It's hot as shit in the summer, but I did it this weekend anyway. It's like one of those things where I'm like, it's so easy when it's hot, way too hot or way too cold to be like, no, I'm not going outside. But then when I do it, like I went and hiked in the Greenbelt a bit, man, it's energizing. It just gets me back to a good place. I also like taking Jared out back and spanking his tight little ass. It serves as a solid pick-me-up.
Mm-hmm. So for me, I like to go and do what you said and hike in nature while also throwing a circular disc.
Playing some disc golf.
Disc golf, great. It's number one, it's exercise. You know, it's a hike, plus it's, throwing something with your arm. Plus you're out in nature. I find disc golf to be an incredibly therapeutic sport.
I don't think anybody can put golf on their list of like this. We're talking about guaranteed pick-me-ups here, and golf can go horribly wrong. You can come back in a much worse place mentally than you went in.
Most people do. And if you ever go trying to now I do know some people who are like, honestly, I'm just happy to be out here. I plan to shoot 110.
I'm that guy.
Yeah.
I'm usually that guy. But even as that guy, I'm telling you, there's a lot of risk. I still sometimes leave, and I'm like, I wish I never fucking came out here. And you know what? Sometimes it's not when I'm leaving. Sometimes it's on hole 13. I'm like, it's 120 degrees. I fucking hate it here. I suck at this game. I've lost $47 worth of golf balls. I just want to go home.
Shouts to Dan Jester, who recently played golf with a random threesome. He was the random fourth because he's like, I really need to play. He shot a 37 on the front. Dan Jester did. Texted me, which is a kiss of death because I'm terrible at golf luck for Dan. Whenever I play with him, he always blows up.
Okay.
And I was like, Dan, why'd you text me? He still shot a 79, which is really good, but he went 1 over on the front and then 6 over on the back.
Can you imagine going to play golf with 2 other friends and you get matched and Contrarian Dan is your fourth? You don't understand. If you're listening and you don't know who Dan is, he's a former coworker and friend, still friend of Jared and I. And he does contrarian takes often. Is one of the ways that he is very funny. And he would be a nightmare. That's a day ruiner for those 3 guys.
See, Dan, when he doesn't have people who know him, though, he doesn't be as contrarian because I think he doesn't want to come off as an asshole.
He can't help it. I don't think he can help it. I think by hole 7 or 8, Dan starts breaking down and saying shit just to like throw people off.
The guy's like a belly putter, and he's like, "Oh, so you're a belly putter, huh? I see."
I'm telling you, he can't help himself. He starts picking at these guys.
But yeah, can you imagine shooting a 79 even? Like my best ever round, I shot a true 89, no gimmies, no mulligans, true 89, and it was one of the best days of my life.
I saw another former coworker of ours, Dylan Chivalry of the Circling Back podcast. You saw him this weekend. Over the weekend. I played Torrey Pines with him.
Okay, flex on me right now.
On the 18th hole, he had a chance to break 80. And I think all he had to do was maybe bogey. He blew up and he choked it. And it was, you know him. He's an angry sports guy. When he's out there, the shit he yells at himself. It's just unbelievable. It's fucking hilarious.
He had a chance to shoot like a 79 at Torrey Pines.
Yeah, he's a really good golfer.
That's pretty impressive.
Yeah. And
What'd you shoot?
And he blew it. Oh, probably 130. It was right. We played right after like one of the tournaments too, bro. So like the rough was rough. It was, but it was so nice out there. God, the ocean. I miss the ocean. That's my fucking one right there. My number one. My number two would be spending time with friends and family because they stabilize me. My dogs as well. Puppies are an incredible cure-all, by the way. If I just go sit with my dogs and play with them for like 30 minutes, I feel a hell of a lot better every single time. But my number one is water.
Okay, so this is an intervention, Ross. When's the last time that you went on an ocean vacation? The ocean is your favorite
It's been
thing.
many years.
So why is that, Ross? What can I do?
Just
to send you?
How long do you have, Jared? The rest of the show?
What can I do to send you on an ocean vacation?
No, I'm
You
gonna
deserve
go
it.
on one soon. I swear to
You
God.
told me that 2 years ago.
I swear to God. No, I didn't. And if I did, a lot has happened in the last 2 years, Jared, that would explain the lack of vacation. But again, I don't think we have time to get into that today. Soon, though.
I'm just going to ship you to Port A.
Water is my number one, ranked in this order. Ocean, one, not close. Nothing comes close. No other option comes close to actual ocean. And yes, the ocean does. Which one matters, for sure. I'm not talking about going down for the Gulf of Mexico for a week and getting cleared by, like, the dirty oil water, whatever we've got down. Like, that's not going to work for me.
The Gulf of Mexico is
Good ocean.
80% red tide at this point.
It's disturbing. Really tight river comes in at number two. Then lake, then shitty river. Because here's what, the rivers, you can have like, there's a big difference. Big difference. Good river, solid river. Man, but shitty river in the middle of like a city that's over polluted and fucking disgusting, like the River Walk in San Antonio. That's not what I'm talking
That's
about.
not a river.
It's called the River Walk.
I don't know what that is.
I don't know what it is either, Jared, but it's not what I'm talking about. That's my number four, though. Shitty river. And even then, Riverwalk doesn't fit into that category. That's really shitty river, which is down at like number 9 or 10. We're only doing 6 here.
Yeah, the Riverwalk
Or 5.
is like essentially a glorified version of the river that you float down in It's a Small World.
I want to be clear.
The ride at Disney.
I have no problem with San Antonio. I'm actually a San Antonio fan in general, and especially of the populace. But the Riverwalk is just a joke of a spectacle of a what do you call that? What do you even call
Corporate
that? Amusement?
Corporate greed.
Yeah, it's
That's
shitty.
we talked about getting tugged on the getting tugged on a Ferris wheel at the Houston Rodeo being in that song by Josh Abbott. So is the Riverwalk. Taking your baby to the river walk. You ain't met my Texas yet.
Fucking Josh Abbott.
You ain't been tugged on a Ferris wheel.
Oh, number 5 was a natural spring. I'm just not a big fan.
You have a really. Why would you prefer to have a dope river over a dope lake? Because what are you going to do in a dope river? Like go floating, I guess?
Yeah, or just have you ever like sat by like, okay, we have the Frio in Texas. It's one of the rivers we have here in Texas, the Frio River. And I've sat by it and drank cold adult beverages pre-quitting alcohol.
Did you drink Frio Lights?
I don't even know what that is.
It's a cheap beer.
No. And it's very peaceful. The sound of the rushing water, it's very clear, it's beautiful, scenery, nature, all that good stuff.
I do love water sounds.
Lakes tend to be populated with human trash. It's not so much the actual trash I'm worried about anymore. It's the human trash, and lake trash is just so obnoxious, dude. I can't handle it anymore. You people drink too much on the lake, and you're disgusting.
Something needs to be addressed now that we're talking about rivers and lakes, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Austin, Texas has a problem.
What's that?
The problem is we have one river. We have one river that flows through Austin, Texas,
Okay.
that is divided by 2 dams, and everybody here in Austin calls it a lake. They have Lady Bird Lake, which is downtown in Austin.
Yeah.
Right? You have Lake Austin, which is literally just a different part of the river separated by 2 dams in between an actual lake, Lake Travis, and a fake lake, Lady Bird Lake. It is unbelievable. Everybody calls it a lake. It is clearly a damned river.
How has
a
nobody
damned
ever
river,
brought this up to me?
A damned river is not a lake, Ross. A damned river is a damned river.
I want to say, unfortunately for the citizens of Austin, being not from here, I actually don't give a shit. I'm happy to throw these people under the bus and to the wolves and say that they fucked up when they tried to tell us that these were lakes. It's not a lake. That's a damned river. And that's why we're not even really allowed to swim in them. And they're terrible for you and shit.
Yeah, if your dog swims in it, your dog dies. Fun fact. Blue-green algae. Man. Real issue. Austin, Texas.
Dude, stop. You're going to plummet our property value.
True.
Yeah.
I need to pump it. Great weather.
But it's so hot.
Yeah, it's hot as shit.
It's so hot.
Don't move here. Unless you're buying Ross's house. Which isn't for sale.
Oh,
so
it
wait,
isn't.
wait,
Yeah.
wait.
We actually don't care. Just don't move here, though. There's too many people already. Speaking of swimming, Jared, it is summertime, and it's hot as balls outside. Your balls need a safe space to spend these scorching months. Enter our sponsor, Birddogs. Birddogs, maker of the most comfortable shorts in the world in which you can go swimming, climb a tree, play cricket. They also make pants for golf, for life, for love, for swimming. If you want to be part of the revolution like Jared and I were swimming in pants all summer 2021, Birddogs are incredibly comfortable shorts with built-in underwear. Even their pants have underwear built in. Nobody will know, though. They look so nice. You're just cheating the system, winning at life. Frankly, they make pants without the built-in underwear, too, if you just want to be incredibly comfortable and in good-looking pants but are too afraid to be a rebel like Jared and I. And Jared, what's more, do you remember when we were small children and we would get cereal or perhaps a Happy Meal and a toy would come with it? Well, Birddogs does that. If you use the code RBP when you check out on birddogs.com, you'll get a free whistling football with your order. Look at it. It's like a Nerf. Remember a Nerf football? Mm-hmm. When you throw it through the air, 120 yards to your boy down the beach, it whistles like a canary.
Got a question for you. You know how John Elway threw that one Nerf vortex thing out of Mile High Stadium?
Mm-hmm.
Remember this? You remember this?
I think it was CGI, but yeah, sure.
No, that was before CGI. That was like in 1991 or some shit. Do you think you could throw this Birddogs whistle football out of Q2 Stadium here in Austin?
I have no fucking idea, Jared. Do you think you could?
No, but you're kind of strong. You're a strong boy. Looking good, Ross.
What a weird quote. Birddogs.com, code RBP. And with your order, you'll also get a whistling football, and then Jared can ask you something awkward about it on your podcast. Free whistling football, birddogs.com, code RBP. It's time for Trash or Not Trash. Got a good one today.
I actually think, Ross, we need like an intro song for this, for Trash or Not Trash.
It would be nice if we had one.
It would be. What is Trash or Not Trash, Ross?
Today, it's, well, first of all, Trash or Not Trash as a segment is where Jared and I discuss a thing. It's a hypothetical act or a decision, sometimes an object. But we're presented something, usually by the audience, and then we assess whether or not that thing is trash or not trash. Today, I came up with the thing, though. It was me.
Mm-hmm.
Because I keep seeing stories about Olympic athletes selling their medals. And the obvious trash or not trash is, Jared, selling your Olympic medals, trash or not trash?
My take is this.
Yes.
Not trash. It is yours. You earned it. And you can do literally whatever you want with it because it is yours. You put a lot of blood, sweat, tears, and you got this thing for it. So there you go. It's yours. Now, I'll say this. Medals are the absolute worst type of award that you can possibly get. Because have you ever, or seen anybody ever, put on a medal that they've won after the event where they were awarded it? Nobody goes, oh yeah, this is the medal I won when I won a high school state track. And then they put the medal on and like show you. Nobody does that. It's just weird.
My dad had a bunch of medals from marathons, and I used to put them on and dance in the mirror and pretend.
So yeah, nobody does that. Medals deserve to be on necks. So better that medal be around the neck of some weird wannabe tryhard than sitting on some lame plastic display case. That's my take. Not
okay. You think medals were born for necks, not to be stuck in
just
storage.
Like me, born for neck.
Oh, God. Well, the design of the medals, by the way, changes for each and every Olympic Games, making them sort of unique, right? This time around, they're the work of Junichi Kawanishi. Each of the gold, silver, and bronze medals are 85 millimeters in diameter and range in thickness from 7.7 millimeters to 12.1 millimeters. The gold medal is, in fact, made from gold-plated pure silver, with around 6 grams of gold out of a total weight of 556 grams.
Did I hear that right?
Does that make you feel cheated?
Yes, 100%.
Why are they cheaping out on us here? What the fuck? The gold medal is a silver medal wrapped in gold, basically?
I mean, 556 grams of gold would be extremely expensive. I get that.
Okay, but at today's prices, the gold medal is worth around $800 if you melted it down. The silver is worth about $450. The bronze around $5. Like they can't get you something that's actually has tangible value to it beyond. It's kind of insulting to work your entire life and be given a $5 medal.
It's like the plastic gold medals that have like the red, white, and blue necklace that they give out when you're 3 years old and you win the spelling bee.
My dad took me out back and hit me with a switch every time I missed the pole vault for 15 years so that I could have a $5 bronze? Nah.
Yeah.
So earlier this month, a winner's medal from the 1896 Athens Olympics, all right?
Is that the first one?
The OG Olympics sold for $180,000 at auction. Cuban shooter Luis Pupo's gold medal from the London 2012 Olympics fetched $73,200, and his compatriot Ivan Pedroso's long jump gold medal from Sydney 2000 went for $71,335. All three of these were sold by Boston-based RR Auction.
Okay, it's shocking to me that these are going for that much money. They give out so many of these every Olympics.
Okay, so those two dudes, the Cuban guys, the shooter and the long jump guy, those have to have been bought by the same rich Cuban obsessed sports fan, wealthy guy, right?
Have to be. Because think about I could go buy a medal from some random person who was on a team, so a handball, the United States handball team in 1984. One dude was a bench player. He got a medal, right?
I think so. I mean, there are a lot of them out there, and you hear sad stories about them getting sold for like really sad reasons, some Olympian from 40 years ago who's now like smoking crack and needed more crack, so they sold their silver medal or whatever.
Do we know if those are like the only medals the Cuban nation has ever gotten, and that's why?
Maybe that's part of it.
There's got to be
there's
supply
not
shock.
that many that they've gotten. But the 1896 games, again, the inaugural modern Olympics, winners were awarded silver medals, by the way. Those finishing second earned bronze.
Huh.
There was no gold yet at the first Olympics.
How do we add that in?
I don't know. But that makes it even weirder. By the way, $1.46 million was paid for Jesse Owens' gold medal from the 1936 Berlin Olympics at auction in 2013.
That's tight.
Again, it's just kind of weird to me to sell. Like, I get that it has no intrinsic actual value. Like, the win can't be taken from you. You won. The medal is not what earns you that, right to celebrate that honor. Like, the medal symbolizes it. So never mind. I'm okay with selling these.
What's wrong with that?
As long as you sell it for a value that you think is getting back what you put in, sort of, in a way. But again, then not, because it's like nobody can really take that from you. Fuck it. Sell it. Sell it.
As long as your Wikipedia page says you won the gold medal, then that's, in this digital day and age, that's all that matters. That's the NFT version.
That's all that matters. Yeah. By the way, the Olympics...
Assets.
What?
Physical assets are not going to be worth anything for much longer, Ross. Digital age, metaverse. Fuck it.
The Olympics are still in full swing, by the way, and if you want to bet on them, or any sports for that matter, our sports betting sponsor, MyBookie.ag, will hook you up with a deposit bonus when you use the code RBP upon sign-up. Stipulations apply. MyBookie.ag has all the live lines, prop bets, and futures your little heart could desire as far as sports go. And if you're not a big sports person, the casino is wild. The live casino is even wilder. There's live dealers, blackjack, roulette, and shit. You're watching like a camera of the dealer, a real human dealer, at an actual table. It's wild. Check it out today, MyBookie.ag. Code RBP for that deposit bonus and to support the podcast. And again, as long as the Olympics are on, you can bet on those and all the other sports that are active still. Major League Baseball getting deeper into the season here.
Formula One.
If
you had bet that Esteban Ocon would win yesterday's Hungarian Grand Prix, you would have won an absolute shitload of money because he was
a long shot.
He'd never won a race before.
Ooh. See?
First time winner, massive crash at the end of the race, really changed things up. Max Verstappen got like 2 points. What a day. Hungarian Grand Prix. Hey.
Bet on the F1 at mybookie.ag using the code RBP, and also follow at Formula Bone, one of our newest, I guess technically our newest brand at Bolen Media, run by Jared, who is in fact J-Bone.
J-Bone.
Yeah, Formula Bone for all your F1 coverage needs.
I live tweeted the race.
TikTok, on Twitter, live tweeted the race over the weekend. Very good coverage as well. And on Instagram, all the same, at Formula Bone. That's Formula One with a B before the one, you see. Figure it out. Yeah. Jared, what does the number 996 make you think of?
69.
Okay, me too. But it is shorthand for the grueling schedule that has become the norm at many Chinese firms. This is a thing in China in their corporate culture that is now normalized. Not like, oh, some places are doing this. Like a lot of places are doing this, where you work from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m., 9-9, and then 6 days a week. 996. So like you'll be like, oh yeah, I've got a 996. So like when your friends or family are like, do you want to do anything? You're like, oh sorry, I can't. I've got a 996. That's just like that's a lot, obviously. And the way it's come to be, kind of, I'll give you some of this piece from the New York Times by Vivian Wang. Okay. 996, the term originated in the technology sector around 5 years ago when the country's nascent internet companies were racing to compete with Silicon Valley. Basically, they started off behind and needed to, right, catch up. Mm-hmm. At first, workers were willing to trade their free time for overtime pay and the promise of helping China match the West. So at first, it was this sort of like noble thing. Also, you were getting a lot of pay. It was like, fuck it. The first major pushback to 996 came in 2019 as China's economic growth slowed and tech workers began questioning their work conditions. Online protests followed, but the movement faded under government censorship. This year, 996 shot back into the news after 2 workers died at Pinduoduo. No way I said that correctly. Doesn't matter. An e-commerce giant. Officials promised to investigate working conditions, although it's not clear what, if anything, has come of that. Since then, some companies have taken steps to improve work-life balance. Another one, a short video app, in July ended a policy requiring its staff to work on weekends twice a month. One division of Tencent began encouraging workers to come home at 6 p.m., though only on Wednesdays. Guys, new company-wide ordinance. We want to boost morale. You guys have been busting ass. We're stoked. We're stoked on the stock, the profits, revenues. They're high. Graphs going up everywhere you see. You see the graphs. You see my new tie. You know what? Fuck it. Wednesdays, y'all go home at 5.
Yeah. 6.
6, excuse me. Excuse me, did I say 5? My fault. 6 p.m. Wow, like we'd ever send you home at 5.
So,
6
hey,
p.m. 6
I would
p.m.
say, so instead of 996, it's 995 and 961.
Yeah, now it's out of control at this place, which is called Kaohsiung.
No, that's 10 cent.
I was close. Oh, I'm sorry. You're right. That's 10 cent. 10 cent?
10 cent.
Fucking, come on. I can't read. Kid can't even read. Anyway, big pushback now. Many are willing to endure the working conditions because of the competitiveness of the job market, back to the New York Times. The number of college graduates in China rose by 73% in the past decade, a stunning achievement for a country that had fewer than 3.5 million university students in 1997. As a result, more people are competing for a limited pool of white-collar jobs, as she wrote earlier this year. Again, this is a matter of simple supply and demand, right? So there's a shit ton more educated people fighting over the same amount of jobs. That job amount is not growing fast enough to keep up with the amount of educated people fighting over these jobs. Therefore, people are willing to work harder, longer hours for less pay. It creates a very strange market, right? Mm-hmm. For the workers. Problematic one.
Yeah. I don't...
It turns out.
How can you... Okay, there's recently a push, and there's even like a law being passed right now in California for a 4-day work week, where they lower the minimum number of hours for full-time work to 32 hours a week. Whereas you go over to China, across the Pacific Ocean, and it's the exact opposite.
Yeah.
They're going for the 6-day.
Yeah, but then you hear stories about Europe, and they have like 3 months of vacation a year and shit like that. And you're like, wait, what?
Yeah,
what is happening?
They got like a year paternity leave.
Now,
awesome.
One of the things that's interesting to me is we obviously have this big pushback, especially in the younger generations, in the Gen Z generation, the TikTok generation, and this sort of call for like not even more progressive, like it's almost socialism, right? Like, or a version of it. And that is sort of the response to what became the climax of American greed, right? Sort of almost pre-Donald Trump's presidency, but then symbolized by his presidency sort of in a lot of ways. And it's interesting to me that China, and having this insane culture crop up as a result of trying to catch up with and then pass the West, has hit a similar point where now they have all these Gen Z people turning to Zedong's writings on communism, and they're like raging against capitalistic exploitation. And there was an online craze this year that called on young people to tang ping or lie flat, which is like to opt out, basically not do anything. And the Chinese Communist Party, back to the New York Times, has noticed the burnout and the threat it poses to economic growth. On the one hand, it has promised to better support college graduates in their job hunt, but they have also censored discussions of Tang Ping online. China is bonkers, man. Whenever I feel really bad about America, I read about China for a half hour online, and I'm like, woo, boy, that is some complicated shit.
Yeah, and then every other week it's like, John Cena apologizes for saying something bad about China because China threatened to not show any of the Fast and the Furious movie in their country, and it would have cost the franchise $5 billion.
And like that in and of itself is like, I am out on China. Like that type of shit is fucking terrifying to me.
Shouts to Daryl Morey, RBP guest.
Yeah, huge shouts to Daryl. I mean, that was one of the reasons that I had so much respect for that guy. Is like, you can't just be bought. Like, we all can't just be bought. We can't just fucking sell out our whole shit just because there's money to be had somewhere else. That doesn't make sense to me at all.
Let it be known that RBP does not support the Chinese Communist Party in many things they do.
No, we do not. In any fucking facet at this point. Like, it's chaos over there, man. And in all fairness, we don't support any of the political parties here either.
Yeah, we don't really support any major party of government in any country.
We really don't. We really don't.
No, that's a lie. I support the Green Party solely because me and Ralph Nader have the same birthday.
Google Jared and I's political contributions and let us know what you think.
I've made some political contributions. I wanted Vermin Supreme to be the governor of Massachusetts. Didn't go well. Remember him?
I feel like I might have sent Beto money, which if I did, I'm ashamed of. But I did vote for Marco Rubio in a primary once, so it's possible I sent Beto money. I've made some poor decisions in my life. Everybody knows that.
I mean, I thought he could have beaten Ted Cruz in that one, but he did not.
Do you have to say his name on our show? Can he be like Voldemort henceforth? Like, we don't say Ted's name.
I'm Ted Cruz.
That guy fucking sucks beyond all measure of the word. He's the worst, dude.
The queso dribbles down your chin and
serious.
Goes down to your navel and it fills your navel up with queso.
God damn it. Navel queso? I've got a really deep belly button. Back to you, Jared.
Anyways, we have a new sponsor.
China.
Oh.
Well, no, now it makes it sound like our new sponsor is China. That's not it's not the case at all.
We can't be bought. God. New sponsor, China.
And now, this episode is brought to you by China. What the shit? Anyway, 996 sounds fucking awful.
Yeah,
I'm glad that we don't have that. We do have really shitty working conditions in certain lines of work in this country. Don't get me wrong. Like, I know certain people in certain job fields and that are chosen, like lawyers and shit. Like, these people got to work way too much, man. Just like an absurd amount of hours.
Yeah. So I have this boss. Sometimes if I don't get enough work done in the day, he takes me out back and spanks my tight little ass.
Yeah. So like the conditions can be tough here in America, but not every it's not like the prominent culture of the country is that everybody works too many hours. In fact, I would argue most of American corporate culture became about figuring out how to not work as many hours as possible while getting paid still as if you were. Like, that's most of corporate America.
Yeah.
Most of the people I know that have really corporate jobs, and you know what I mean by that, really just that work for big-ass companies, international companies that have a shit ton of rules and regulations with 30 different bosses before you get to anybody that matters, like that type of shit. There's what was I saying, Jared? Back to you.
The corporate culture.
Their corporate culture. Oh, the corporate, like those people will work like 3 hours a day.
Yeah.
And be like, I just don't have shit to do. So it's like, I do a couple, 3 hours a day, and the rest of the day I search on the internet.
And now thanks to the pandemic,
podcasts.
you've had people who are getting money and not even working at all.
I think that was the thing before. That's what I'm saying.
Well, it's more widespread now, certainly.
Probably. I think people just realized you could do it from the comfort of your home in not shitty clothes.
When a lot of people are making more money on government unemployment.
Oh, that too. Than actual work.
Working. Yeah. Which it's like...
Well, I don't know about a lot of people. I don't want to get political here. But in China, again, not a sponsor. Real sponsor, Liquid IV.
Ross, I have big news.
What's that?
The best flavor, in my opinion, Liquid IV has ever made. It was a temporary flavor that was sponsored, I believe, by Kygo. It was like a Kygo and Liquid IV collab. It was gone for a while, Ross. But that's not it. It is now back. It is Pina Colada. The absolute best flavor they've ever made. It is back. You can now buy it. I recommend going right now and using code ROSS at liquidiv.com and buying every single piece they have in inventory because you will not regret it. I drink one of these every day. Pina Colada. So good.
Yeah, you get 25% off everything on liquidiv.com when you use the code ROSS. This episode of RBP, of course, brought to you by Liquid IV. The hot summer months are here. We need to stay proactive to keep our bodies fueled and hydrated. Making hydration a priority helps us feel healthier on a day-to-day basis, fuels us to be our best at our highest potential. One stick of Liquid IV in 16 ounces of water hydrates faster and more efficiently than water alone. Not only that, but the product tastes great with flavors like watermelon, strawberry, and lemon lime. Lemon lime being my favorite outside of course, the now back and returned Pina Colada.
Like, seriously, it tastes like a virgin pina colada. Like you know when you're like...
It's pretty amazing.
You're like, oh, you know, I'm driving, I can't drink, but like I really want a nice tropical drink. You could have one of these every morning.
Yeah, it's like how in Willy Wonka he would hand out candy that tasted like something, or in Harry Potter. Like the jelly beans taste like something really specific, and you're like, yeah, that could never happen. No, this can really happen because this Liquid IV tastes exactly freaking like a pina colada. I love pina coladas, Jared, and I don't drink anymore, so I never get to have that sweet taste of pina colada in my mouth, and now I do, and I'm hydrating myself at the same time.
And you're getting 25% off with code ROSS at liquidiv.com.
Wow. I drink Liquid IV before recordings, before runs, before workouts to make sure I stay hydrated and healthy on the go day to day, giving my body the tools it needs to fuel the beast. Get your Liquid IV in bulk nationwide at Costco, or order online and get 25% off when you go to liquidiv.com. Use the code ROSS at checkout to support the podcast and save yourself 25% off anything you order when you get better hydration today using promo code ROSS at liquidiv.com.
You will be, I'm not kidding, when I've had my first pina colada, I was like, there's no way that they were able to replicate this flavor so well, and they are. Highly recommend it. Let me know what you think about it when you do buy it with code ROSS. Bang.
Josh Campbell, Corporal, United States Marine Corps.
Second Lieutenant Jackson Howard, U.S. Army.
This is EO2 Elsesser from the U.S. Navy.
Mary Jo Milestrip, Lieutenant Commander, U.S. Coast Guard.
Lance Corporal Lever, United States Marine Corps.
This is retired Brigadier General Guy Walsh, former commander of the 175th Wing, Maryland Air National Guard, and commander of the 451st Air Expeditionary Wing, Kandahar, Afghanistan.
Air Force Second Lieutenant John Hankus.
83 Grant Sisk, United States Navy.
And this is Ross Bolen's badass vet you haven't heard of.
It's so long.
It's the greatest intro fucking music ever made.
Can you explain that?
Can you just imagine if you'd never listened to this show before? You're here, you've been enjoying the silly banter or whatever, and then that hits, and you're just like, what? What? Where am I? What is happening?
Explain that. What they just
we
said.
have this incredible musician, Sam O'Hare, who's put together a bunch of different theme songs for our segments that we have, our reoccurring segments. And this one, he was able to grab sound bites from a bunch of actual veterans in our listenership, and put together the Badass Vet You Haven't Heard Of theme song. It's just super, super intense and long.
It's way longer than it probably should be, just for like listener
it's just
purposes.
Incredible. It's just incredible. It's the best. It's my favorite. Today's Badass Vet You Haven't Heard Of is Joseph Medicine Crow. Okay, I'm going to get into his story here. After spending the latter half of 1942 working in the naval shipyards in Bremerton, Washington, Medicine Crow joined the U.S. Army in 1943. He became a scout in the 103rd Infantry Division and fought in World War II. Whenever he went into battle, he wore his war paint 2 red stripes on his arms beneath his uniform, and a sacred yellow painted eagle feather provided by a Sundance medicine man beneath his helmet. Here's what makes him badass beyond all measure. Medicine Crow completed all 4 tasks required to become a war chief. Number 1, touching an enemy without killing him. Number 2, taking an enemy's weapon. Number 3, leading a successful war party. And number 4, stealing an enemy's horse. Which I feel like they just tacked on to the end there. They'd be dicks. Like, once you've done the first 3, touching, like, you have to sneak up on an enemy, like, what? Well, he's taking a piss or something, and, like, slap him on the side of the face and then run off? What is this, fucking middle school? Take an enemy's weapon and then lead a successful war party. At that point, like, do I really need to go steal a horse? I just led a successful war party.
I'm imagining, like, this is like Impractical Jokers where you got, like, Murr and Sal, and it might be like, okay, Joe, you need to go steal his horse.
Exactly. Who came up with this shit?
Now, what my favorite thing about his name is Joseph Medicine Crow.
Yes.
So a lot of people don't know this. He actually wrote the song Wagon Wheel, Old Joe Medicine Crow.
What the hell's wrong with you? Okay, so in all seriousness, Joseph Medicine Crow touched a living enemy soldier and disarmed him after turning a corner and finding himself face to face with a young German soldier. So again, this is in World War II. He disarmed a Nazi. And why did he have to do these 4 things? I just want to know that. Like, I just can't wrap my head around that part. What was the Whitey equivalent to that? To become a whatever, like, dude.
Probably get like the Medal of Honor.
What a fucking insane list of tasks.
Yeah, they seem like they're going to put him in more danger than he otherwise would be.
Good Lord. The collision knocked the German's weapon to the ground. Mr. Crow lowered his own weapon, and the 2 fought hand to hand. In the end, Mr. Crow got the best of the German, grabbing him by the neck and choking him. He was going to kill the German soldier on the spot when the man screamed out, "Mama!" Mr. Crow then let him go. He also led a successful war party and stole 50 horses owned by the Nazi SS from a German camp, singing a traditional Crow honor song as he rode off. Where the hell has this movie been? How many fucking World War II movies have we made at this point? And we don't have one on old Joe Medicine Crow here and how he wrote Wagon Wheel and stole 50 horses from the Nazis? Because that's fucking incredible. He was interviewed and appeared in 2007 Ken Burns' PBS series The War, describing his World War II service. So there's some...
Yeah, and
thanks, Ken.
As you know, in that documentary, there's a shot of old Joe Medicine Crow where it goes from the top left to the bottom right, as Ken Burns is wont to do.
He is wont to do that. Ken Burns, quote, "The story of Joseph Medicine Crow is something I've wanted to tell for 20 years. Maybe there was some reason that they weren't able to."
It's, it might be because the song, like syndication of songs is kind of a touchy subject.
Oh, you think the copyright and trademark of
Rock Me
Wagon Wheel
like wagon.
is the issue here?
Mm-hmm.
That's one of the all-time, like, it's not their fault, Like, they wrote that song. What were their names?
What?
Who sings Wagon Wheel, Jared?
Old Crow Medicine Show.
Yeah.
But no, who wrote it was Bob Dylan, I believe. I believe that is a Bob Dylan
OG
song.
was a Bob Dylan song?
I believe so.
Well, Old Crow recorded that song, with pure intentions, I'm sure. And it just destroyed pieces of this country.
The entire South, I would argue. I believe that
we'll never
song,
get back,
yeah.
And then it went on to be done by Hootie.
Mm-hmm.
One of Hootie, anyway. And we'll never recover from all that.
I think he is Hootie.
God, that was hell on earth. I don't think I've ever had to hear a song more than I had to hear Wagon Wheel. I hope I never hear it again, just like Voldemort's name.
I heard the song Wagon Wheel. Pretty much, if I was ever drinking for more than 1 hour, that song came on.
This is the episode where we start a list of things we never talk about again. 1, TC, a.k.a. Voldy. 2, or let me continue on 1, the queso.
Navel.
The queso navel jackass. 2, what was the second one?
Well, I can't say it, but it's the song by Old Crow Medicine Show.
Oh, yeah. 2, Wagon Wheel. That was the last time. Nobody ever gets to say it again. We'll keep this list running. For now, that's it. That's all I can think of. What else do we hate? Hate. Hey, let's end the show on negative note.
Yeah. Now we'll think of some more stuff we hate.
Oh, okay. Not right now, though?
No.
Fine.
I was kind of vibing before all that, so.
Were you?
Mm-hmm.
We'll keep the vibes positive then. For all the Olympic medal holders out there that are currently considering selling
For crack.
out of hardship. Because that's a thing that happens, man. But nobody can take that gold from your fucking heart. And nobody knew that it's actually silver wrapped in gold. And it's bullshit that actually makes sense, that they can just excuse it by saying like, well, the original medal for first place was silver, so we're just trying to pay homage to that. It's like bullshit. You're cheaping out and you don't want to give us gold. We want the gold. Give us the gold. I love gold.
If you want to purchase gold bullion.
Don't, Jared. Stop it. Don't make fun of old sponsors, Jared. They got us through the pandy.
Go full Peter Schiff on them.
At one point last year, we were reading ads for a gold company, and it just got weird in here.
You can custom stamp your own gold bar.
Yeah, why would you do that? What the fuck, man? I never could understand what happened there, but there we were. You know, somebody's got to keep the lights on. I wonder if any of y'all, if you ever bought any of that gold and got it stamped, like, holler at us. I'd love to see what it looked like. That shit would shock the fuck out of me, though. But I would love to hear from you. It was so fucking random, dude. Like, what? I'm sorry if you don't know what we're talking about, but we'll be back on Wednesday, and hey, maybe then you'll understand more of the references that we make. So there's always that chance. But in all seriousness, we do rarely talk about inside jokes on this show.
Yeah,
rarely.
do we need more inside jokes?
Probably. I feel like everybody can always use more inside jokes.
We tell a lot of inside jokes, but that is just pertaining to jokes from the movie Inside by
the Bo Burnham special.
Yeah.
Don't call it a movie, Jared.
It's a movie.
Okay.
I've seen it in theaters, in a movie theater. So
that was a movie when you watched it in theaters, for sure.
Saturday was a movie.
I'll agree with that.
I ran into a bunch of RBP listeners. Shouts to every RBP listener I ran into on this past Saturday.
Yeah, shouts to everybody Jared met. Shouts to everybody that's got a birthday this week. Congratulations. Good for you. You were born.
Fuck.
Jared and I will be back on Wednesday, which is huge, on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, as we've requested. We would like it if you supported us on Spotify over all else. If you want to make that change for us. If not, no big deal. We'll be back Wednesday regardless. And yeah, follow us on social media everywhere, at Jared Borislow, at WR Bolen, at Formula Bone, at Ross Reacts. Listen to Oysters, Clams, and Cockles, our TV and film podcast. And if you want more ad-free RBP each and every week, you know where to get it. New month of August. That means ad-free every Friday. A new episode drops that nobody else has ever heard anywhere else. It's exclusive on patreon.com/Ross Bolen podcast. And you've got 2 mental health minisodes coming this August. And you got 6 columns coming this August. And if you sign up on patreon.com/Ross Bolen podcast right now, as soon as the show ends in like 30 seconds, guess what? You're going to have access to every single episode we published last month, the month before that, all the columns. Go read them. Go listen to the show.
Yes.
Enjoy. Catch up. Go now to patreon.com/Ross Bolen podcast. Support the show. Get us started hot in what will likely be the hottest month.
For as long as you are a subscriber to our
Of the
Patreon, you get unlimited backlog access to listen to all 80. It's around 90 now. Around
Unlimited
90
power
episodes of the show that you've never heard if you've never been a patron. You know what that makes me say? I have not pulled this one out in a while. Kind of makes me happy. I'm doing the arm thing. Can't see it because it's... Oh, if you are on YouTube, you can. Follow us on YouTube. Subscribe. Listen. Rate. Review.